quick disclaimer before I start the commentary. This playstyle and the build is min-maxed for Wolfshunter Patch, but it's still one of the best ways to play Stamina Warden in BGs in the next patch in Murkmire Patch. The only difference in Murkmire Patch is that you won't cast a Bird of Prey before you do offensive rotation, but besides that, the playstyle and the build remains still the same. I hope you enjoy. Yo, what's up guys, welcome to a new PvP video. In this video I will show you a Battlegrounds game where you can see the latest build, the latest support Stamina Warden PvP build that I posted yesterday in action. So in this Battleground, in the end I did 1.3 mil damage and 830k healing. And I played with my friend Father. And in the beginning it was a 3 vs 3 vs 4. And we got a fourth person pretty late into the game. But in the end it was still a pretty close game. So the first tip I can give you is that you should keep up all your buffs at all times. That's a general tip for all your PvP builds. On Stamina Warden, you should keep up Ice Fortress, Leeching Vines, Green Lotus and Netch at all times. I can recommend you to use add-ons if you're on PC to track these 3 buffs. You can see them on my left side of my character. And don't forget to cast Vigor every 5 seconds. You can treat it like a short duration buff as well. So right now we see that red team is pushing from middle and the purple team is on the left side of red team. So the natural decision that we do is that we kite on the right side, so we don't get sandwiched between these two teams. And since we kited back, red team chases us and they are now in a perfect position to ult drop them and one hit them. I will show you the burst combo in slow motion right now. So before we do an offensive burst with our ultimate, we always cast Bird of Prey first, into a backbar light attack, then frontbar subtrain, and do a spell or a heavy attack into a Dawnbreaker. Since I'm on voice with my friend, I can tell him when I sub, so he can time his burst with my incoming burst. So in the end we could take 2 down and the third kill got cast. Right now you can see one of the weak points of this build, and that's single target pressure over time. Since I invested everything in group support, group healing, tankiness and burst damage, my only pressure comes from subtrains that proc every 3 seconds, as well as execute. Since I don't have single target pressure, I've focused on healing my allies while casting subtrain every 3 seconds. So because I have my Vigor up for my friends, they can pressure the enemy without worrying about going into defensive because I keep them at full health. At the moment you can see that I don't have my ult up. That means I go into full defensive rotation. In other words, I keep up my buffs, my 3 buffs on the left side of my character, as well as Netch up, and focus on keeping up my Vigor. And while doing that, I weave a subtrain every 3 seconds to pressure the enemy and help my team to damage the enemy and maybe force them into a defensive rotation, or even able to kill them with execute or a friendly ultimate. I get my ult up and I see that the purple Templar swapped back to his front bar, his offensive dual wield bar, and started sweeping. That means that he's vulnerable a lot, and I start my burst rotation. I cast Bird of Prey again into a subterranean, into a backbar light attack and a Dawnbreaker. We were able to kill him, but because I didn't have a good uptime on my buffs as well as my Vigor, my teammate struggles surviving, and in the end we both die. Now you can see what you usually do when you don't have ult up. You just keep up your buffs, keep up Vigor every 5 seconds, weave subtrain every 3 seconds, and heavy attack weave in between so you can sustain the low stamina regen build. When you get ult, you look for an opportunity to one-hit someone, best case scenario light armor boys or medium armor, and you set up the burst again with the Bird of Prey into subtrain, backbar light attack into Dawnbreaker. I see that this guy is in light armor with only 20k-ish health, so I don't need to cast a heavy attack into a Dawnbreaker, so I can speed up the burst. Another thing that's really important when you play Stamina in general is how you cast Vigor. Vigor is one of the strongest heals over time in the game, and it's a heal around you, so it's really important to know where your allies are, so you can hit all your allies, so they get the insane heal over time as well. And again, I'm stalling till I have my ult, casting all my buffs, using Vigor every 5 seconds, weaving subterranean in between, heavy attacking for sustain, and when I see the opportunity, I cast a Bird of Prey into a subterranean back battle attack into a Dawnbreaker when they are more squishy, and if they are super tanky, I need to do a Bird of Prey into a back battle attack, into a subterranean, into a heavy attack, into a Dawnbreaker for the most damage. The rest of the gameplay is quite similar to what I already did and what I said. It's always the same rotation. When you don't have ult, you focus on keeping up your buffs and Vigor, as well as weaving subterranean and heavy attacks. When you have Dawnbreaker ready, you look for an opportunity to burst some enemies, but even if you go into an offensive rotation, don't forget to keep up your buffs and Vigor. But that's it about this playstyle, playing without a Spammable, focusing on buffs and healing. If you like more of this type of commentaries in the future, maybe about 1vx or 2vx outnumbered fights in Zero Deal or even more BGs, let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you're into more stamina related content in PvP. I will do some Murkmire build videos as well as guides soon. Now you can see some gameplay without commentary, and I will just play music in the background, and see you next time.